everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining me again. Cummings Cast Podcast, episode 6. 6. Oh, wow. Okay. Miss Heather Comstock from our Ruxin office. Here we go. All right, Heather, thank you for joining me. How are we doing today?
Good.
So I just took a guess that you had been in the business for 22 years, and I was wrong. So how many years?
28.
28 years. You do not look like you've been in this business for 20 years. I mean, aren't we like the same age? Would you start when you were 12?
Yes, I did. 11.
That's a good run. Yeah, so your perspective I'm excited to hear about because 28 years in the business, a lot has come and things have changed and stuff. But just a quick little background on yourself. Like, where you grow up, where do you live now? How, we know you've been in the business for 28 years.
So I grew up in Baltimore.
Okay. Baltimore County, Baltimore City?
Baltimore City.
Okay.
And I spent my summers with my grandfather in Connecticut, little town in Connecticut on the water.
Cool.
And he was a real estate broker.
Oh, okay.
So I found the other day a picture of myself when I was like 6 and I had made my own real estate license.
You really did start when you were 11, basically.
It was always my dream.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't at all.
Right. That is so cool.
Yeah. So I grew up in Baltimore. I went to Towson University.
Yeah. Another Tiger Pride. This is crazy. I'm not doing this on purpose either. But you're like the 5th out of the 6 people I think that went to Towson.
It was a good experience.
We just can't get away, can we?
No, and it was a great, it was a great experience for me. And I was an English major. I thought I was going to be this amazing, investigative journalist. And then I graduated. And
you looked the part of an English major.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then I figured out how much journalists got paid and how long it took to make money.
I was an education major at that school, and I figured out how much they got paid, too. And I was like, it's not going to work for what I need to do for me and others, potentially. Yeah.
Right. I mean, because, when you graduate that was my backup plan, too. I was like, I'm not going to be a journalist. I'll be a teacher. And I was like, well, I can't. I can't support myself that way. And so
I have great respect for all teachers, and it's a great profession. But it just didn't make sense for me.
Totally.
The journalist thing didn't make sense.
Did make sense.
So did you work in that field after college, or what led you?
Did.
What any outside of real estate experience after college before getting into real estate?
So I worked for a music magazine, and I made $40 in an article.
Okay.
A little music magazine. Wow. And I had a hard time even getting them to pay that. And I bartended and waited tables for a couple years, and then I was like, I can't.
Here we go again with the bartenders.
Yeah, I need a real job.
Yeah.
And I remembered that my grandfather was in real estate, and at one point I was like, I'm either going to try real estate or be a travel agent. Mm-hmm. And I had another friend, Bridget Williams, who was a real estate agent. So I thought,
Bridget's with us now as well.
That's right.
She's a hoot.
Yeah.
Hi, Bridget.
She's been in the business probably 30 years at this point. But
gotcha. She got you beat by a little bit.
A little bit. And she really sold it to me. And I thought, I can do this until I can figure out something to do. And 28 years later. I literally would not do anything else. I mean, it just started out as something that I was going to do to kind of kill time until I figured it out.
Yeah.
And now I can't even. It's great.
So 28 years later, you still love it.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And you've really learned. So you're in our Ruxin office now. You've been with the brokerage for how many years has it been?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say we'll touch base when we get into COVID, but sales volume. Approximately how much business do you do? Is it ebb and flow? Are you pretty steady?
It's an ebb and flow. Yeah. I mean, on a light year, probably 10 million. On a good year, 16.
Okay.
I think 16 was one of my better years during COVID.
And how many units does that equal out to be for your price points?
25 to 30.
25 to 30, yeah. Okay. 2-3 deals a month closing consistently, yeah. The one thing that I remember about you when COVID hit, Ruxin's a small office. You still were coming into the office. I was still going around checking on things, whatever. You were, one of the only people around, or, we were still allowed to travel, whatever. Things broke out, but I really feel like you had one of your best years in 2020. I feel like, you really dug into okay, now I'm going to catch up on everything that I haven't been able to catch up on, right? I just remember you walking in, it was your desk, it was just stacks of note cards and stuff. And you were doing handwritten notes, and you're doing Popeyes, I guess. You're trying to add some value to people's lives. I don't know if you're doing hand sanitizer, maybe would make sense at that point. Right, okay. And then And so, yeah, you really had a great year that year.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a big year. Yeah. And I feel like you just really focused on working and keeping moving the ball forward. And it really ended up working out because people decided at that point they had a lot of time on their hands and decided that they wanted to buy and sell and do all those things. And you were top of mind or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess you've been a Brian Befini sort of person.
Yeah.
So do you use the CRM?
Yes.
The referral maker. All right.
Religiously.
The last 3 people I've had all have said that they use spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So I'm always fascinated by how people keep it all organized because I love organization. Like it's one of my little things of having things in order and blah, blah, blah. So I guess tell me a little bit about like what's worked well for you to like sort of grow this business. So when you first got started 28 years ago, it was a totally different landscape. We were still no DocuSign, picking up keys at offices, blah, blah, blah. But I guess like, what's helped make you successful? Like how have you done this where you consistently can do 10 to 16 million dollars a year or whatever?
Well, I mean, simply by the nature of being in the business so long. I started out in my 20s and my clientele was in their 20s and I grew with them, and when they moved to the move up houses, I would move with them, and I always kept in touch with my database, but nothing super formal. And when I made the change to Cummings, you were having a Befini peak producers, and I had never really heard of Befini before. I tried Brian Ferry. It just was not Brian Ferry.
Mike Ferry.
Mike Ferry.
Yeah.
And it was
son,
it was not
different approach. That's more of like cold calling, expired listings, getting the dialer.
Yeah.
Some people are very successful with that.
Yeah.
Not so much myself either.
It just wasn't my personality, but I enjoyed the coaching aspect of it. And then when you had the peak producers, I took that, and because, I wanted to start a new brokerage with, kind of getting myself organized, because I did not have a database at that point. I did that kind of business. I had no database. It was just, I organically reached out to my folks. And so I took peak producers, and then I am also really organized. And so I got a CRM, and that worked really well. And then I ended up going into coaching, and I am very methodical.
Coaching through Befini.
Befini,
that's like a once a week, once a month?
Twice a month.
Twice a month, phone call, virtual type of situation? Phone call. Not like a Zoom or anything, just a straight phone call.
Straight phone call. And I do 8 Popeyes religiously a week. I make 10 phone calls to my CRM, and I send 12 notes.
8 Popeyes religiously each week. So you find 8 people in your database to drop by something.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that religiously?
As long as I've been with Cummings.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of stuff are you doing for the Popeyes?
So I'm kind of a craft nerd. So during the pandemic, I did sidewalk chalk for kids. I did hand sanitizer. Today, I'm dropping off.
Sidewalk chalk is a cute idea.
And I
like that.
And I'm
so you're
I kind of got it.
Yeah. And so you're doing that just with like your business card attached to it with a little note or something?
Yeah. What I do is I take my database and I break it down geographically. Like after this, I'm showing houses in Howard County. So I'll drop off 8 Popeyes in Columbia and Ellicott City because I'm going to be there. And it's going to be seeds and garden gloves.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I've learned is people love free stuff and they love to be acknowledged. So when I drop something off for them, I had one client say, she was like, I can't wait to get home to see what you left me, because I'll text and I'll be like, I left you a little something. And it just keeps me.
So you give a little notice that you drop something, so they're not like when they get home. They're looking for it, excited about it, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I always say, I dropped you off a little something, and I don't. I think the idea is you're supposed to knock and talk to people. I personally don't like a surprise, like stop by, because people telework and things like that. But they always appreciate when I leave something for them.
Yeah.
And some people I pop by all the time, I never hear from them, and then I'll get a referral from them. Yeah. So, it just, for me, it keeps me top of mind.
Do they not even respond to your text when you say I dropped something off?
No.
They don't even respond to that.
No.
But you still get the referral.
But I still
don't get discouraged by the fact that they don't respond?
No, because
That's good.
It's been successful enough where I can never really predict like who who likes it and who doesn't. And so geographically, if I'm out and I spend between $1 and $2 for a Popeye. So if I never hear from that person or they don't like it or they just throw in the garbage, it's not really that much of a big financial loss.
So you do have to have like some thick skin in this business sometimes.
You do. You
do. You can't take things personally.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the strategy. Like if you're already going to be out in that area, you've planned it around like, okay, I'm headed to this other county where I don't live, where I'm not there all the time. So this would be, instead of spending my day just going and doing that, I'm incorporating it into my showings or my listing appointment, my appraisal that I got to meet or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. So the Popeyes have been successful. Do you do I know Befini's big into the client parties. Do you get into that or you skip that?
Oh, no. We do I do it with a friend of mine, Dawson Nolly.
Dawson Nolly, who's another agent in the Ruxin office that you guys were previously at Berkshire together with? Yeah. You were also then previously at Coldwell Banker before that with him? Or were you we were at Berkshire. Just straight Berkshire.
I've been at him
Prudential. Oh, yeah. I guess it was YWGC, Prudential, Berkshire. Yeah. So you and Dawson. Yeah. I know like Angela Vavasori, who's actually your cousin, right? Yeah. And Mark Risha will do some combined, they do a combined event in the fall. So you do a combined event with Dawson, which I think is great because it's like you're sort of like bringing more people together.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you know who your clients are. He knows who your clients are. The clients know that they're there for you. But like that synergy of sort of splitting the cost, making the event a little bit more lively, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if he brings 10 people and you bring 10 people, 20 people is more lively than just 10 or whatever. And then times that, I like Mark Risha and Angela's event is like 250, 300 people or something. I mean, kids running all around and they do a great event. I think just, having that combined thing just brings that extra energy and, people getting to know each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you do stuff with Dawson 4 times a year.
4 times a year. Yeah. And then so for the first time this year, so I'm a big animal person. I work with a rescue. I have lots of animals at home. And I did a pet portrait
that's cute.
Event where we, I paid for everything, but I asked my clients to donate money to ARF, who I do
because your daughter is aging out of like little kid stuff, I guess, right? When she's in college.
Yeah.
So you probably used to do a lot of events that were more kid friendly because your spear was more kid when you were whatever. So now that your sort of daughter's moved out of even the teenage years, moving into adulthood, so you're kind of coming up with more creative ideas that you're seeing your spear, like some of their kids are gone, but they have pets at home, kind of thing. Yeah. Which made you, I mean, is that kind of how it came together?
Yeah, and it's a lot of, so I'm in my 50s, and a lot of my clients are in their 50s now, and I've started to work with their kids, which is really surreal.
Yeah.
But I do have some younger people, but not a ton of them. But Dawson does. So Dawson has little kids.
Yeah.
So the biggest fear I think for agents is when they have client events is no one's going to come. So that's why Dawson and I started doing things together. Yeah. But it does allow us to do more family friendly things, and some of my database will come, and a lot of his will.
Yep.
But I realize that the events that we do are really family friendly. Yeah. But I would have clients who, didn't have kids or don't have kids at home anymore, but their pets were everything to them.
Yeah.
And so I wanted them to have an opportunity to participate. And it was seriously the most fun thing I've ever done. I mean,
pets and photos. Did they have like little outfits and stuff?
Oh my gosh, we had Raz and I did it together. Okay. We did 13 photo shoots.
Wow.
And it was the most chaotic, like fun, touching. The pictures were amazing. People used props.
Yeah.
And it was people that, I have this one German guy, he's like 6'4", and he's really kind of stoic, doesn't say a whole lot, but to see him with his dog was like a completely different side of him I'd never seen. It was just, it was so fun.
Right. So that have you seen the referrals come from the events as well?
100%. I mean, I don't know that I've ever done a client event and have not, maybe not immediately, but gotten a referral. And let's say my average commission is anywhere from $7,500 to $8,500 on average.
Yeah.
I mean, the average client event for us, we might spend $600 a piece.
$600 each.
Yeah, so that return is unbelievable.
Right. If you spend $600 and you get one client and you make approximately a $7,000 to $8,000 commission.
Yeah.
It's like a net profit of $7,000 if it's just one.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I think like the events are always like scary to get set up, and a lot of people, like the last person was in here, Brendan Beller's like, I just don't like event planning. Like, I didn't love event planning either when I started doing things with the office, and one person said to me, like, if you're gonna do it right. Don't be doing drink tickets. Don't be doing whatever, just if you're going to go for it, go for it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've learned that, took that to heart, and that's like helped me to kind of, yes, get people like come back to your events, because it's like, okay, with like if Dave's doing it, it's I'm not going to be starving or whatever,
Yeah.
So like when
Yeah.
you do your events, I feel like, yes, you've organized it well, you promote it well, and
Yeah.
then you execute it well, and then it gets easier to, I guess, do it again, right? It kind of
So
comes
easy.
rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And then like each year the stress level goes down, because you're like, okay, like we've got this tablecloth now, we know to do this or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think like, yeah, the hardest part is like, is the mindset of just committing to doing it, right?
Right.
And then once you commit to
Right.
do it, so you've committed to the Popeyes, and that's been working. You've committed to like some client parties. You work your sort of CRM and work the follow up, whether it's a Popeye, whether it's a party, whether it's a handwritten note. I feel like
All the time. Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
handwritten notes.
Yeah.
Thanking people. So you're in your CRM database. You have their home address and your whatever it is, their anniversary of their house. You're hitting them with those types of other sort of like touch points that you do throughout the year.
I mean, if somebody's kid graduates, I send them something. If, I'm always very aware on
Like,
Facebook.
You're figuring out like through Facebook the graduation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he graduated.
Yeah.
Let me get the note card out. I know
Yeah.
their address. Congratulations to your son or daughter.
Yeah.
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 That's really cool.
I
And you
mean,
get people that text you back or call you or things like, thank you, got your note.
Yeah, because people don't get things in the mail anymore.
Yeah.
And so, if you take a moment to send them, I mean, the birthday cards, sometimes I'll get response back, but, if somebody's parent or dog passed away, or their kid graduated, or they got a new job, or they retired, and I send them something, they're really touched, because they don't really get that stuff very much.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we're one of the industries that really do dig into like the relationship in their life, and we do like them. Like most of us are people persons and everything, where it's like, you just don't get that same relationship from your dentist or your insurance guy or gal most of the time. I don't feel like. I mean, some people, certain industries definitely do, but I feel like we definitely dig in more than others. Just our personalities are like, congratulations, that's good.
Yeah.
It's like win-win. Like we obviously want leads in business, but it's also personally, I feel like sometimes it's like, I don't even care if you would, refer me something. I'm just like happy for you. You helped me out previously. That's how I always was. It's like, if you buy a house with me, I'm here for whatever you need. You buy one house from me, I make a $10,000 commission. Ask me for the rest of your life what electrician I use, whatever. Like I'm your resource for life if you use me one time. That's how like my mentality was, and I feel like that's good. I still, friends to this day will still say like, you got a pool guy? I'm like, yes. Here's, or let me go look on our private Facebook page or our preferred vendor list. Yeah. So any like failures, anything that's done that you've done that you're like, oh man, that sucked. I wasted a lot of money on that. I don't like to use that word sucked. I always tell my kids, use the word stink. That stinks.
I mean, I can't think of anything that I've done that, beyond, trying the cold calling and trying something that just was not my personality. And the thing that I learned really quickly with that was that people will respond to me when I'm genuine, and that feels better to me.
Yeah.
So I do 99% of my business by referral.
Yeah.
And it's because I genuinely care about my clients, and I think that reads
shows
in the way
through with the transaction and the customer service of the transaction.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I just like, the referrals really come through, in my opinion, with the transaction.
Yeah.
Like, and then the follow-up is like the fortune's in the follow-up with the Popeyes and the client parties and keeping with them. The transaction, like once the transaction ends, is like, that's the relationship begins for life. But yeah, they're really showing them like that, your stuff, you know the terms, you know how to handle things, you head things off before they actually go sideways.
Yeah.
And you maybe let them know like, hey, I noticed this was going to potentially come up. Like, you're an out-of-state seller. You need to be aware of like all the, tax implications and all, like knowing all that stuff. Really providing that value to clients, I think, is something that I feel like you're very detail oriented.
Yeah.
And that you really provide that value. So, in terms of like any new stuff on the horizon that you're trying this year differently than you've done past years?
Well, so
Did I ask that question already?
Not new stuff, but the thing that I've really tried to be very conscious of is this market's super competitive, right?
Yeah.
So, if you put a listing on, and I've had this happen to me so many times over the past 4 years, you get 4, 5, 6 offers. And so one agent will get it, but the rest of those agents don't. And I've been where those agents are, so I know how that feels. So I really try to make an effort to reach out to the agents and say, I'm sorry you didn't get it. I just want you to know that I appreciated your offer. Your buyers are lucky to have you. And I try to be as kind as I can.
That's really cool.
And I also say to the agents, give me a call if you want me to tell you what you could have done better. Like very generally, because I can't tell them, what we took. But, my thing is, I want to help people do well. There's a big enough pie for all of us.
Yeah.
So my relationship with agents is as important to me as my relationship with my clients because, clients come and go, but we do deals with agents all the time.
Sure.
So it's important to me that, I respect my fellow agents and vice versa. And I think that has done really well for me over the years.
Because then when you're on the other end, you're bringing a buyer and they're the listing agent.
Right.
They're like, oh, I remember you. You were really nice to me. Even though I lost that offer, like we had a great rapport.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing me an offer.
Right.
Have you literally seen that like happen when people have lost offers? Or is it just like, sometimes I feel like if you just put good out into the world, it comes back to you, maybe not directly. It's like our private Facebook page. Like if you respond to somebody, it's like, okay, when you need something, maybe that person doesn't respond back to you, but somebody else does.
Right.
It kind of like keeps that good vibes flow going.
Right.
So I really appreciate you saying that because it's really nice to hear. Like, it makes the brokerage and the rest of us look good because by you making us look good, reaching out to agents that lose the offer, saying, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You didn't get it, but we'll keep you, consider you back up or, whatever. All that type of goodwill helps, you hopefully build a rapport with agents, but also helps, other agents, the brokerage be like, oh, I wrote an offer on Heather's deal. I didn't get it. Well, now this other agent, Bridget, has a listing and I'm ready on hers. And like, I had a good experience with Heather. So I feel confident about, telling my clients, this listing and this agent will treat us, fairly and everything. So that whole goodwill is a big, important factor to me.
Yeah.
Of being well-respected, good reputation. So we're both on the same page with that. So that's really nice, the little angle that helps you build rapport with agents and all these multiple offer times that maybe hitting over the next couple months again too as we move into this beautiful spring world that we're popping into. And then, so I like social media wise, I feel like you're like a good mix of like not too much real estate, like your dog portrait photos. I'm sure you post and stuff, and then you post personal stuff. I mean, but you're not like completely focused on your marketing efforts through social media. You're more focused on your marketing efforts through your Popeyes, your handwritten notes. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because so a lot of my clients are my Facebook friends, and I think if my clients see me as a person and not as a real estate agent that's constantly shoving my business in their faces, if they know me, they know my family, they know my sense of humor and the things that I do, then they want me to do well because they know I'm a
very
person.
Serious, but you do have a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
She looks very sophisticated and serious with those glasses, but let me tell you, she's got some good zingers. Gotcha. So so your social media is a little mix of everything. Yeah. And I think that's a good perspective because some people, weigh heavy on that. Some people don't do anything at all.
Right.
So you find a balance that works for you, but even if you're not fully committed on social media for every listing marketing or whatever, you really are kind of behind the scenes, continue to be working every day with those relationships.
Every day, every week. Yeah. I mean, if I'm going out of the country next Wednesday, and so I'll do my Popeyes before London and Prague.
Oh, London and Prague. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. How many nights?
10 days.
10 days. Yeah. Good for you. You and the hubby?
Yeah. You, me, and me, only us.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Any places you find real estate inspiration to keep this grind going after 28 years?
I mean, I keep going, and I can't imagine that I'm going to retire fully at any point because I love it. And I don't.
Do you ever hit a day where you're like, this?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
the reality is because I love it too, especially when I get to have these types of moments.
Yeah.
Like I love I love you the agents here. Like I mean I love the clients too, but I don't know the clients as well. I love the relationships with the agents. I love this, but there are definitely times where I'm pulling my head out where it's something got screwed up or somebody's threatening this or that or whatever. So you can have your good days and bad days. So you have those as well, right?
All the time, but. Yeah, I just have to because I've done it for so long, nothing that happens surprises me. I know the personalities out there. And so I can always say to myself, this is not forever. This deal is going to be over. If I don't like this person, I never have to see him again.
Yeah.
And I know that you never know what your day is going to bring. Never.
Yeah. It's always it's always an adventure every day.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that too.
What other job would that be?
I still feel it's like nine out of 9 clients' transactions out of 10 are fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's always, so if you're, at one point in the year, depending on how much you do, you're going to have, 1, 2, 3, 4 people that just drive you nuts, whether it's the client, the other person's client, the agent, the title company, the lender. Something's going to go sideways. But that's like how you learn and you grow. And when you get through those, I went through some stuff, that were terrible for years, just, different lawsuits and dumb stuff. And now I'm like, like when that stuff happens, it's kind of like, I'm not like, this is going to ruin my day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like the more adversity you kind of deal with in this industry, the better you get at dealing with it. Yeah. The more you know how to head it off and handle it. And so 28 years, you have your days. We all have our days. Get to bed, get some rest, wake up fresh. You start over, you kind of deal with it, and you still love it, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I do too. I mean, I couldn't be happier with where I am right now with life. I love hearing that, like, after 28 years, guys, I'm not there yet, that you're still loving it too. So I hope I'll be at that same point. Anybody you follow, like, for inspiration?
I mean, besides my hero, Brian Befini, who I've never met yet.
Really?
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't met him.
And do you go out to the events in different states and stuff? Yeah. I know Gigi Causey and Wendy LeGrant, Megan Richardson, a lot of different people like will go to the different things. Usually I feel it's like a lot of like Colorado, San Diego.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah. He's based in San Diego?
Yeah.
Befini's based in San Diego. Haven't met. So, all right. So you follow him, obviously. So you follow him on social media, YouTube, all the different places that he puts out his information and stuff.
I mean, for the most part. Yeah. I mean, I have a short attention span, so I'll check in with him on Facebook every so often, but
he gives like some good market updates and predictions and stuff.
Absolutely, and he's
that knowledge you can then take to your clients. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you kind of dig into, even if it's not a real estate front?
No. I mean, I just kind of do my thing, hang out with my animals, my husband, love my kids, just kind of live my life.
Yeah. Any other trips after London planned?
Taking our kids to Madrid in May.
Oh, wow. You're back to back. That's cool.
We didn't travel during the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I went to Switzerland recently. It was the first time I've been out of the country really, since the pandemic kind of reined it in for a while, did lots of local stuff. Now like, the hard work, like work hard, play hard kind of mindset. So, all right, well, I think that is everything I had. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you have any questions for Heather, I'm sure she'd be more than willing to talk to you about anything that she talked about today. Additional questions about Brian Befini's like programs and how much he costs to do coaching and all that different stuff. You don't mind?
No, not at all.
Reached out to you directly and asked you that type of stuff?
Yep, happy to share.
All right. I greatly appreciate it. All right, episode 6 is in the books. Heather, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a great rest of your day.